You ever get that voice in the back of your mind that tell you you're not enough, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, you're not sexy enough, you're not good enough for whatever it is that you set out to do? Well, I'm here to tell you some harsh truth. A lot of times that voice is right. Now, before you go and make this video your 13th reason why, I'm here to tell you that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And just because you're not enough, or you're not good enough, you're not sexy enough, you're not enough for something right now, doesn't mean that you won't be enough for something in the future. And whatever that something is, whatever your heart desires, you can work towards getting there. But a lot of times, the reason that your brain is telling you that you're not enough is because you need improvement. You need to find some accountability, something in yourself that needs to change in your life to make you get to the goals that you want to get to. However, we have been conditioned to be coddled, to be told that we are enough in our station. Well, you are good enough. You are. Everything you do is right. You just try harder and you'll get to where you need to get to. And a lot of times, sometimes, you just are not good enough. You ever have a friend that does music? Now, I come from a family of musicians. That's why I live out here in the West. I come from a lot of talented people. A lot of people in my family can sing like angels, okay? So I've heard people that are not as good as those people, right? That have afforded us to be able to move out west and make a life for ourselves. I've come across a lot of people who don't have the same talent, and they believe in their heart of hearts that they can sing, or they can rap, or they can perform, okay? Because everybody in their life have told them, yeah, keep going, because they don't want to discourage them from being a performer, for being the best that they could be. I mean, there was a whole show called American Idol dedicated to showing these type of people who were somewhat delusional in their dream of trying to get to where they needed to get to, feeling that they were where they needed to be to get to the next stage, even though they were not. Mostly because the people in their life, I don't want to say coddled them, but supported them on their way to their journey. But when they needed criticism, when they needed to be told, well, you know what? In this instance, you're probably not good enough. You probably need to improve. You probably need to work on X, Y, and Z. They wasn't told that. So when they got up on that stage, or when they got up on that TV, they were hit with a dose of reality, a harsh dose of reality, when they were told by one of the judges that, you know what, this ain't it, dog. So I sometimes in their face are like, what do you mean? My whole life I've been told that I'm enough. I'm good enough to be the next American Idol. I'm good enough to be the next star. But in reality, no, a lot of them were not. Most of the time, they were not. At the end of the day, there are only 12 contestants, right? Out of thousands. So sometimes you're just not good enough. But you can improve. You can get to be good enough sometimes. And sometimes you're just stuck in your station. Sometimes you just assed out, okay? Sometimes you're just gonna be 5'2" and you can't be 6'5". You understand? And if that's what's stuck in your head about getting to the impossible, then you're gonna be tortured for the rest of your life. But if you could accept your station, if you could accept being 5'2" as opposed to 6'5", and where you are, and dominate from that position, literally, you win in the game better than a lot of people who are in a similar position, as opposed to looking at it as a position of defeat. People say, I don't have any friends. And I'm pulling this from a live I did last week where somebody said, well, I don't have friends. And I wonder why I don't have friends. And I went into this whole diatribe about, well, maybe you're unlikable. Maybe you're just not enough for the people that you want to be around. And it's the truth. And I'm saying that from a person who has known that, whose friends didn't invite them to certain events or parties or things because I wasn't cool enough. And I'm not knocking them for it, but in some of the instances where they may have showed up and did cocaine or, ran train on a girl, I wasn't for that. So it was best for them not to invite me to the party because, like I said, I wasn't jiggy enough. You know what I mean? I wasn't down enough for the get down to be invited to those events or to maintain certain friendships throughout years because I wasn't down with going to the kickbacks where certain substances were being abused and I'm not judging those people. It just wasn't for me at the time. You get what I'm saying? And it made it so that, like I said, I wasn't enough for those particular people. But there are people who I mesh with and can get around, and I was and am good enough for. So if you haven't found your tribe, continue to look for it. But for the people that may not want to befriend you, maybe you're not likable enough. Maybe you're not funny enough. Maybe the people that you're around, because it's all about proximity, don't think that you're wealthy enough. You don't come from a class that they can respect or look at and say, okay, this could be a friend of mine. Maybe people around you are low-key racist inside. And I'm not talking about just from black people, from white people. There are black people that don't want to get close to white people because they have this inherent fear about white people. There are white people that don't want to get close to black people because they have this inherent fear. There are people that don't want to deal with these people for whatever preconceived notions they may have. But I'm going to tell you, the more preconceived notions that you have about any group of people, any preconceived notions that you go into any group with, you're going to be more unlikable as a person because you're coming in with baggage that probably don't apply to none of the people that you have these preconceived notions about. But that's neither here nor there. A lot of times you're just not enough in the moment. And sometimes you'll never be enough to be who you want to be. I'm sorry. Sometimes you may have to adjust your dreams in order to be who you want to be. If you're a rotund, facially challenged woman who don't have no sex appeal, you're probably never going to be Miss Universe. But if that's a dream of yours, maybe you can adjust the parameters in your mind to where you can win a similar goal, right? Maybe not that goal, but a goal that could satiate that appetite. There's a video that's circulating right now that's going viral with this woman. And she's talking about how there's been this evolutionary glitch because men are ugly and women only have ugly men to choose from ugly suitors. And that's not how it's supposed to be. The ugly men are supposed to be the cannon fodder for this and that. But look at the woman that's saying it.
Most men are deeply unattractive because of Mother Nature and something called the Great Scam. The Great Scam was the day that the male of the species convinced the female of the species that it no longer needed to prove itself worthy in order to reproduce and have babies. But the fact that the men are ugly says otherwise, right? They're not supposed to exist. They're supposed to be cannon fodder to the strong, attractive men who are worthy of having babies. So while y'all are out here being like, the men don't take care of themselves, that's why they're unattractive. No, you're fucking a 10,000-year-old genetic anomaly. He's not supposed to exist, babe. Like, there is no amount of moisturizer and sunscreen that will change the fact that his great-great-great-great-great-grandma should have fucking swallowed it.
Now, I'm not trying to say anything, but I don't think that woman is hot enough to have that opinion. That's it. I'm just being honest. I don't think that woman, and you call me a misogynist or whatever you want to call me, but I think that woman is objectively not good looking enough to be having an opinion to sit up here and say that most men are ugly. That's crazy work. Now, she could be right. She could be completely right. But the audacity and the fact that most people will look at her and wouldn't, even if she's 100% on the level about her theory about this evolutionary glitch about ugly men, nobody's going to take her seriously because of the way she's looked, because she's not hot enough. Now, that may hurt some people's feelings. It may say, oh, you're being mean. I'm being fucking honest, bro. I'm being realistic. And that's the problem with reality right now. Too many dummies have been told their whole life that they're smart, that they're intelligent, when in fact, they aren't. They're dummies that just speak a lot. And that's why we are inundated with so much negative nonsense and those type of think pieces from people who don't like literally sit there for a second and look in the mirror and say, maybe I'm not the one to be delivering this message. Maybe I need to sit this one the fuck out. Because we live in a time where a lot of people are telling that girl, oh, y'all can't say that that girl is beautiful in her own way and da-da-da. I'm pretty sure she is, but she is not the one to be getting on the internet saying exactly what she is. She's not hot enough for that shit. And you can sit up there and say, oh, you being mean or whatever you want. I didn't make the rules of this world. It is what it is. You don't have the job that you want. You're not qualified enough. Or maybe you haven't went for that position. Your balls haven't dropped far enough. You don't have the woman that you don't want. You can put whatever reasons in front of her. These bitches are tripping and they only want men and all this. I'm not a rich person. I haven't ever had trouble getting women, bro. And you can say, oh, okay, well, it is what it. I'm just being honest with you because I don't look at it like, oh, okay, I gotta go for this superficial bitch over here. If there's a woman that I like and I see that she's superficial, I'm not gonna let that destroy me. I'm gonna get what I can get out of her as far as like whatever that may be. You know what I mean? Like, it may be physical, it may be just time, it may be whatever. But if she's what it is, already in the back of my mind know that ain't gonna go nowhere, because I'm not gonna ever be enough for that woman. I'm not gonna ever be able to provide enough to make that particular woman happy. When I say superficial, I don't mean just based on looks. I mean based on monetary stuff. And it's not always superficial, because a woman has a right to want a nigga to be, bossed out, and like just like I have the right to want a woman to be able to fucking physically turn me on and get me off and provide some things for me. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I'm eating, make sure I'm good when I'm sick and all that. I have some requirements too. So a woman can have her requirements, but some of those requirements I am not good enough for certain women. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, right? But if I ever wanted to get in that boat, you know what I would do? I would do my best to make myself meet those requirements to get those women, right? You may say you shouldn't have to meet those requirements. It ain't no shouldn't. The reality, the law of the jungle is the law of the jungle. It is what it is. And people may not want to hear what I'm saying. Just like, United States just invaded Venezuela, and I got a video that's doing pretty well over on another app where I'm talking about it. And people are up my ass about it because they think that I'm an imperialist, because I'm only stating the facts that despite the fact that this is an illegal invasion, despite the fact that you could put whatever you want out there about why it is wrong for the United States to invade another country, because I'm right there with you. You can't deny that the operation was pulled off very successfully, though illegally, and the fact that the United States has never adhered to this international law that they've had everybody else adhere to. Let's not act like that's not a thing. Let's not act like this is a new thing for the United States to be doing illegal stuff for carrying out wars wherever the fuck they want to, or wherever the fuck we want to. The reality of it is no country is good enough to defend themselves against the United States. No military is good enough to fight the United States and put the United States in its place, because if it was, they would have been done it. No country's military is good enough to put us in our place. Tell me I'm wrong. Otherwise, the United States Special Forces wouldn't have been able to, in 3 hours, capture the leader of a sovereign country and bring him back to America for fucking trial. Those countries were not good enough to defend themselves from the imperialist aggression. Now, people could be mad about me and say, well, you're saying they're going to go over there and get the oil. They said they're going to go over there and get the oil. The United States government, the president said they're going to go over there and put those companies, the United States companies, back down there that Venezuela kicked out, I believe, like probably about 10 years ago or 5 years ago, something like that. They're putting our companies back down there to extract resources from those people. Our government has said that, but people will sit there and say that I'm the imperialist because I'm saying, well, what are other countries going to do about it besides bitch online? You can be mad at me all you want, but the reality of it is y'all are not strong enough to challenge the empire at this moment. Nobody is. Otherwise, they would have done it. People don't like to hear reality in this world. People don't like to hear the reality that there's a lot of Venezuelans here in this country and in Venezuela celebrating the fact that this country has deposed their dictator because it doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't fit their worldview. Sometimes you just have to improve. Sometimes you just have to be better. Sometimes you're not at the starting line as him or her. Sometimes you have to become him or her. Sometimes you have to make yourself become that person through blood, sweat, tears, and work. And here's the kicker. Sometimes you may never get there. The process is what makes you who you are. Trying to be better. Trying to be enough. For whatever. Sometimes it's not even for other people. Sometimes it's not even, I'm trying to make a relationship or get friends. Sometimes it's enough for yourself to prove to yourself so you can look yourself in the mirror, look yourself dead in the eye and say, yeah, I try. I do my best. I am who I am because I am willing to go through the mud. I'm willing to go through the gauntlet to get to what I want. No, sometimes you're not good enough. Right now, if you're not where you want to be, you're not good enough. Something you have to improve upon to get to where you need to get to. And I'm not trying to be all motivational either. I'm just being honest. Because I'm talking even to me. There are things in this life that I want, and I have to tell myself, well, okay, I do this good. I try my best here. I'm 100% here. I can tell myself I'm 100% on a whole lot of things, but if the results are not there, maybe I'm not good enough at what I want to do. I have to improve. I have to get better. I have to recognize where I'm not good enough at what I want to be. People say, oh, your channel don't even have 10,000 subscribers. How come you're not at 100,000 yet? Because the channel is not good enough. It could be better. It could be improved. You know what I'm saying? I can put more of myself into this bitch. You feel what I'm saying? I could be more personable with y'all niggas if I wanted to. But there's room for improvement always. Places I want to get to, places I want to be, especially by the end of this year, that require a lot of investment, change, and improvement on my part because maybe I'm not good enough. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys like this video. And as far as likability, humans are social creatures. Likability is a big deal, okay? Some of us are socially isolated because we're not very likable people. It's just the truth. We may think we're likable. Come with some great conversation and some blah 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 blah. But sometimes that blah 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 is what makes you unlikable. Sometimes people don't like your racist jokes. Sometimes people don't like your misogyny. Sometimes people don't like your political views. Sometimes people just don't like your energy or your vibe or whatever you give off, right? That's fine. That's fine. That is fucking A-okay. Sometimes you just can't improve upon that. Sometimes you can't change that. And that's okay too. You find the people that are in your sphere. Don't try to be in an echo chamber either though, because too many people get caught up in an echo chamber with people that just think just like them and they just bouncing the same ideas off each other. There's no room for improvement there. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.